Tonight on 48 Hours.
They're in the brush, something spooked them.
Ándale, 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 ándale.
Look at them. Ants off a hot plate.
They'll do anything to get here.
Hey, that's not the Border Patrol. Those are bandits. When the Border Patrol finds you, they shout.
At nightfall, they usually give us the bonsai rush. They know they have to come north to do something, and our job is to try to stop them.
And almost anything to stay.
How many sleep in here?
Tres. All these people don't have any ID here.
He's on arrest.
Chasing the American dream.
It's not for me that I'm doing this. It's for my daughter, so she can have a better life.
My parents, my brothers, they work their butts off.
Finding an American nightmare.
I hate Cambodia.
Go back to Korea.
Desperate journey.
Yeah, you better haul ass back, dude, right now. Let's go.
America is still a dream for people from other lands. More than 250,000 men, women, and children became new Americans last year, legally, as naturalized citizens. But 3 million people tried to cross into this country illegally, and 2 out of 3 made it. Just last week, 34 Cubans made a daring and successful flight to freedom in Florida. And unlike most illegal immigrants, the Cubans will probably be allowed to stay. Half of all illegal immigrants entering this country go to California. And many find that once they get there, their desperate journey to a better life is just beginning.
Twilight along the Mexican border between Tijuana and Southern California is so peaceful. How could you know just by looking that this is the calm right before the storm? How could you know just by looking that in a while, when it gets dark, this will be the busiest illegal border crossing anywhere in the entire world?
Yeah, you better haul ass back, dude, right now. Let's go. They will be back. They will be back tomorrow evening. And there goes a pair right down there, too.
Roland Gonzalez is a U.S. Border Patrol agent, a 14-year veteran.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. It's adult version of hide-and-go-seek, maybe. It's a little bit more dangerous than the regular game.
Ahorita, perdidas como a las 11 de la noche.
You're going to go across about 11 o'clock.
Nomás en cuanto se descuiden los oficiales.
Just as soon as our friend here, the officer, isn't watching.
I guess you get all kinds.
Hasta la vista! Sí, al rato!
You become accustomed to this. It's just part of the life right here on the border line.
Where are you going?
I go to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
Chicago!
This is the last stop, actually the last rest stop on the way to the United States. Back there, they sell drinks for the journey, vegetables. Over here, making some tacos. And down over here, they're actually selling running shoes to get to the United States. $10 a pair. But if you think that fence is just a little too high and a little too dangerous to get across, no problem. All you have to do is walk a few feet, and there you are, the United States of America.
I help people cross to the United States, or I refer them to other guides. That way nobody gets robbed or raped by bandits. Everyone here is a guide.
Pablo is a kind of travel agent for illegal aliens.
And what do they give you, Pablo, for helping them get to the United States? What do you get?
Dinero?
Money. How much money per person?
$200,
$250, depending where they're going. If they go to Chicago, $700, $750.
Geez, I mean, I hate to bring this up, Pablo, but it's illegal. You know that.
Look, I'm only a criminal by U.S. law. Criminals here are people who kill, not somebody that takes people across to work. And besides, America gets rich on our cheap labor.
See, all these people on the top of this berm here are on our side. You can see it, they're starting to walk back.
Yeah, there they go. So this is the routine, right?
Right.
You get close enough, they go back 10 feet into Mexico.
Not even that, they'll probably wait for me right there at the line, and or just a little bit on this side to see, what am I gonna do? I act, they react. They know they have to come north to do something, and our job is to try to stop them.
Nighttime, this weekend, every weekend, is the time for thousands of desperate journeys. The Border Patrol estimates that 5,000 aliens try to make it through this crossing every day. At least 2 out of 3 make it.
Like everybody, I've come to see what's on the other side of the fence. I'm a nurse, and I really can't make it on what they pay here.
She is a Mexican trying to make it to California. We'll call her Maria, and we'll follow her journey north.
Why would you want to cross to the other side if not to improve yourself? I'll take any kind of work, even the most humble.
Maria is traveling without a guide, running in the darkness with her 4-year-old daughter and a friend.
Of course it's tough to travel with a child, but more than a bother, it's just sad.
For the Border Patrol, it's a non-stop, never-ending contest.
We have the infrared scope up already, so hopefully that's going to help us a lot.
And every night, every single night, you can bet there will be a chase.
Okay, Cole, we got those 3.
I got about 10 over here.
We got 30 of them. None of them even tried to run. It's just like they know they're caught, so that's it.
Suavecito trabajo, eh?
You don't find this bizarre that you're the federal agent, they're the illegal aliens,
No.
everybody's friends, everybody?
No. They know and we know. Everybody behaves themselves, there's not going to be any problems.
How crazy is it? You've just been caught by the Border Patrol. Where do you want to go?
Disneylandia. You want to go to Disneyland?
But not tonight. Everyone caught is held for 6 hours, then dropped off at the Mexican border.
It's a cycle. It's a circle. We catch people, we send them back.
And in the no man's land between Tijuana and Southern California, Maria is still making her way north, and so far still evading the Border Patrol.
I don't know why they put so much effort to stop you from getting into the country. When you get there, it's all Mexicans working in the factories, in the restaurants, in the fields. Americans just do work in offices, banks, good jobs.
It's the Border Patrol. Let's go.
Another woman hiding in the dark was lucky to be caught by the Border Patrol.
¿Y a dónde iba usted, señora? She's out of breath. She's having a hard time speaking to us. She has high blood pressure. Let's walk them. When I first started, I saw my grandmother and my grandfather and some of these old people that I arrested. But once you take that oath and give somebody your word you're going to do something, you're going to do it. She was looking for housework, like a domestic maid type or a dishwasher. What worries me is that what if we hadn't caught her and she had an attack out there in the middle of nowhere? We wouldn't find her until somebody came up to us and said, hey, there's a lady there dying or dead.
But most casualties of the journey are victims of a different kind of attack.
The only people walking around here are bandits. They take your money, and unfortunately, they have even killed some Mexican migrants.
Suddenly, Maria's companion hears noises.
Don't run, don't run. That's not the Border Patrol. Those are bandits. When the Border Patrol finds you, they shout.
It is dangerous, but I think it's worth it. It's not for me that I'm doing this, it's for my daughter, so she can have a better life.
Later, we'll see how Maria's journey ends and how thousands of other journeys begin.
This your home? This is the way thousands of Mexican and Central American workers live. How many sleep in here?
Tres.
Makeshift shacks, no running water, no sanitation facilities, no electricity. It's truly third world conditions. But this is not Mexico, not Guatemala, it's not Central America. It is the United States of America, Southern California.
And from these encampments, one of the first stops for many of these desperate men looking for work is nearby Encinitas, a short drive from the Mexican border.
Now we're turning here. What are we going to see?
You're going to see a large number of people on both sides of the street.
Right along with the mayor of Encinitas, Gail Hanno, and you get the sense of exasperation.
You see them standing on the street corners. You see them standing in the shopping centers. They're everywhere. Everywhere here in town.
Routine, every day?
Yes. The numbers are incredible. The numbers are much more than we had 10 years ago, even much more than we had 5 years ago.
The mayor wants them out of town.
We don't have the money. We don't have the resources in any way, shape, or form to handle it.
And she wants this daily ritual stopped, where a local resident looking for cheap labor drives off with a worker or two.
It's a city that has gone after migrants with a vengeance.
Claudia Smith is a lawyer for the migrants.
Encinitas just doesn't want migrants, and in terms of laborers, day laborers and farm workers in its midst. It wants them there at 6 o'clock in the morning when people pick them up to be hired, and it wants a whole bunch of them there so that they can bid each other's wages down. But at 6 o'clock at night, it wants them to disappear.
As a public official, you have no problem standing right here at City Hall and saying, no responsibility, send them back.
No.
Not at all.
To the undocumented? No. I don't have a problem with that at all. Not at all. They're breaking the law.
That's pretty harsh. That's pretty cool. These people are coming over here.
I have a responsibility to the people who are already here, legally.
Encinitas passed a law against hiring any and all day workers off the street. The court threw that out. And the city voted down a housing project for migrants.
Where are we headed now?
A fairly large encampment. The encampments have to be cleaned for health and safety reasons. The city's spending a goodly amount of money. Hola. Any other people live here besides them?
¿Cuánta gente vive aquí? 10. 10? There are 10 people still living.
When is her baby due?
¿Cuánto más tiempo por la niña? ¿Conozco? Meses?
3 meses.
3 meses, so she's 6 months pregnant.
It's obvious that this girl needs help.
Here, illegal.
Yeah, yeah. But she's still pregnant. Whether she's legal or she's not legal, she's still pregnant. She's still living in a hovel. She needs help. And I could not turn my back on that. But this is also adding to the impact on the city of Encinitas. She will probably have her baby at a hospital. The bills will remain unpaid.
Do you ever go hungry? Are there days that you don't eat?
Hay días cuando no comes.
As long as there is work, they keep coming. And thousands of migrants end up living like this.
Have you asked the man with the tomatoes to provide you housing?
He doesn't want to give us anything because there's just no profit in it for him. So where should we go?
What kind of a man does it take to do this every year?
Someone who doesn't mind suffering.
When they come back, they won't find these hovels. The landowner wants them off his property.
The city goes out, cleans up the encampment. And the only thing that does is move them from place to place.
And it doesn't cut down on the numbers?
No. The only thing we can do is manage the problem, but not solve it.
This is Los Angeles, the mecca for new immigrants.
When you take them out, for our own safety, make sure we do a cursory pat down.
Many recent immigrants are legal. Most are not.
What kind of place is it?
It's a huge garment factory. 210 employees, about 110 bad.
Los Angeles is home to an estimated 1 million undocumented workers, all on a desperate journey, a journey that is far from over once they reach the U.S. It's the job of the Immigration and Naturalization Service, the INS, to find them and throw them out.
We're from the U.S. Immigration Service. We have a search warrant.
Tenemos orden de entrada. We have a search warrant, okay? Momento, señor, auto, por favor.
Twice a week, the INS raids companies believed to be employing illegal workers.
Sit over there and just wait until we get to you. All these people don't have any ID here.
Dime su apellido.
Give me your last name.
Luis Olivera López.
Tus documentos, cualquier identificación. Get out your documents, identification.
Usted en los Estados Unidos ilegalmente y por eso usted está arrestado. He's under arrest. All these persons that we arrest will be taken down to the immigration processing facility, at which time they will be processed for deportation.
Today, the INS hits 2 garment factories, arresting 53 illegals.
¿Tienes mica? ¿Ah? ¿Dónde vas? Where are you going? ¿La tienes en los documentos? Do you have documents? ¿Estás emigrado? Are you legal? Are you legal? No. Okay, that's it.
They admit to not having...
They freely admitted not having any immigration documents.
They said they had no documents.
That's totally false.
You saw their documents?
Not one person here has come in without being processed and gone through the proper identification. The 3 documents that they have to have before they get hired.
Gary and Esther Dunbar own this garment factory. They employ over 200 people, and the INS says over half of them are undocumented workers using false papers.
How are we as lay people going to know which is the right document or not?
Do you know what a forged document looks like?
You can't tell the difference.
Counterfeiting documents, is it a big business over here?
Very large. I'd say, yeah, predominantly is probably the major economy in this area.
Under a 1986 law, employers must check for working documents. With the name Julio Rodriguez and help from the INS, we find out just how easy it is to get them. All you need in downtown Los Angeles is a name, date of birth, and a little cash.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, 10-4, guy in the blue shirt.
So what's happening now?
Okay, he's making a deal. He just that guy's a runner for the documents. He's going to take photographs and then go and have them and manufacture the actual documents, a counterfeit green card and a social security card.
Julio Rodriguez.
Maybe 10-15 minutes, $25, you're going to get the social and the counterfeit green card.
It didn't take him long. He pulled up here, and within seconds of him stopping the car, he was approached.
That's standard. That really is. That's the way they operate.
Handoff is going down now.
Órale, homeboy.
Let's see what we got.
Julio Rodriguez.
$25 in about 15 minutes for the documents.
Here's the finished product.
And this isn't a legal card. This is a counterfeit.
That's a counterfeit alien registration receipt card, green card.
A social security card, too.
A social security card. There's the fictitious number that's created for you.
So if I'm an illegal alien, I can go to work now.
That's correct.
And the INS believes that's exactly what most illegals do every year to get work. Last year, the INS deported over 1 million undocumented workers. They have 2 choices once they arrive here. They'll ask you what you want to do, whether you want to voluntarily go back to Mexico or you want to be deported. What will you do?
He's going to do it voluntarily.
For Ephraim Vera, like so many others here, this won't be his first arrest. He's been in the country for over 6 years, and he's been deported 6 times.
It's worth for him to make the money he's making here. He doesn't work as many hours, and he doesn't work as hard as he would work in Mexico to make the money he makes here.
Did you buy anything with the money you made so far?
¿Has comprado algo con el dinero que has ahorrado? Sí. Already purchased a home in Mexico, and he's purchased a few sewing machines because when he goes back to Mexico, he wants to open his own factory.
How much did that cost for the land and the home?
$15,000. About $15,000.
Most of the people that enter the United States come up here for economic reasons.
John Brechtel is head of the INS Investigations Unit.
Ephraim, in this case, has entered the United States without inspection. Okay, he is taking a job, be it from a permanent resident
or a United States citizen. He is taking a job away from that individual.
I don't think that's true because whoever wants to work you can always find a job in the United States.
You like America?
Yeah, America is beautiful.
12 hours after Ephraim and his fellow countrymen are arrested, they are taken back to the border. Why are they singing? They'll probably be back tomorrow.
This is a typical American city. In the new America, where the Asian population is multiplying faster than any other group of legal immigrants. Long Beach, California, Little Phnom Penh, is now home for some 40,000 Cambodians, most refugees from the infamous killing fields.
This is where he was shot, right here?
45-year-old Chum Nek is one of the latest victims in a new war. A war which is about turf and crime, not politics. Nek's wife, Song Tang Chem. The shots, police think, came from a Mexican-American street gang at war with Cambodian gangs, a war that's resulted in over 120 deaths in the last 2 years. Long Beach police make nightly massive sweeps trying to control violence.
Hey, mind stepping over here? Hey, sorry. Hey.
These are the East Side Longos, believed by police to have been involved in many shootouts with Cambodians.
East Side Longo? What's going on with you people and the Cambodians?
They're putting our race down. We're going to put their race down. That's the way it is. They're killing us. We're going to kill them.
First, we're going to kill them first. Is this a race war?
No. Well,
I hate Cambodians. You hate Cambodians?
Look at the graffiti, and you'll find the names of the Cambodian warriors.
Names like TRG, Tiny Rascal Gang, Suicidal, and Cold-Blooded Cambodians. If it weren't so serious, it would be comical.
We're suicidal.
Meet Keo. He's 18, Cambodian, and a hardcore member of Suicidal.
Why suicidal? What significance does that have?
Well, I guess we want to call ourselves suicidal and we're crazy.
You're crazy?
Yeah.
Suicidal?
Yeah.
Don't mind dying?
Yeah, you can say that.
Why are the Mexicans your enemy?
Like, they want to take over Long Beach, and like we got jealous,
Jealous?
Yeah, and they keep shooting innocent people.
Keo joined the gang when he was 14. Yeah. He has a long police record and admits to stealing cars and much, much worse.
Do you have a nickname in the gang? What?
Sniper.
Sniper?
Yeah.
May I ask why you're called Sniper?
I guess because I shoot good.
Did you ever hit anybody?
Oh. I did, but he didn't die. He didn't die.
He also admits to 3 or 4 other shootings, all without being caught.
Did you ever kill anybody?
I never found out I killed nobody, but...
You think you probably have?
Yeah, I probably did. Like, at least 3.
At least 3 people you think you've killed?
3 or 4.
He's very dangerous to society.
Song Kamseth, a local restaurant owner, knows Keo. They once lived in the same housing complex. Coincidentally, the same place Chum Nek was murdered. For Kamseth, his American dream lost its sweetness.
It's really gone sour this few years, gone sour in Long Beach.
Kamseth has become a victim of another side of the California gang war. Cambodian gangs preying on other Cambodians.
Most of these Asian businesses are being extorted by Asian street gangs, but they're very reluctant to talk about it or even admit it.
Norm Sorensen has been a cop in Long Beach for 34 years. 12 years with the gang unit.
They make veiled extortion attempts. They'll come back and say, we're your countrymen, we need $250 a month, and for that we'll guarantee we'll protect you from the Mexican gangs, we'll protect you from the black gangs, and everybody will be happy.
Any extortion or anything like that? Have you ever done that?
Nah, I wouldn't diss my own race, because I know they're the same like me.
As for Sniper, he escaped the war and bloodshed in Cambodia, but now he appears confused and caught in a new killing field. This time, it's in America.
Do you have a gun right now? Let's see. What is it?
25.
Here, you hold it. Is it loaded?
It's loaded.
Yeah. Do you feel that you have to have that gun when you're around?
In this neighborhood, yeah. Because that's where, like, mostly where my enemies over here, though. Like, across the bridge, in the corner, enemies right there.
This must be an awful life. Is it?
Yeah, you can say that.
Still ahead on 48 Hours. Is she just an immigrant defending her piece of the American dream?
And standing there trembling, the gun accidentally goes off.
Or a murderer?
This is not what we pictured America to be.
And a desperate journey that begins in horror, ends in hope.
It's more fun to cross here running, making fun of the Border Patrol. I have papers. My sneakers are my papers.
This is the biggest waiting room in Mexico, the waiting room for a short dash across the dried-up Tijuana River and into the United States.
What is that up there?
That's Mexico, right there. That's the levee. Let's walk over there and see what they're screaming at my agents for. Cole, do me a favor. Kill my vehicle and bring
the weekend is always the busiest time for Border Patrol agent Roland Gonzalez.
We are being invaded by a lot of people.
Every Friday and Saturday night, the crowd on the Tijuana River levee grows so large that it becomes pointless to hide from the Border Patrol.
At nightfall, they usually give us the bonsai rush. Get 20 guys coming across, got 4 agents. That's 5 per agent, we hope.
They come across at shift change time, right?
Right.
So what's going to happen? You're going to fake them out?
Yeah, we're doing it just a tad bit early. The agents that are working it are pulling out. They're going to hide. We're going to wait till the group starts moving north, then we're going to come back south. Try to catch as many as we can. See them coming over that wall now? Look at them. Like ants off a hot plate. 218, let's go. 170, let's go. They've been hiding in the buses, that's why we're going checking in them. Bullseye, in the bus, Bien calmaditos, ya se acabó el juego, eh?
It's like the border in this part of America. The border is, it might as well be made out of Swiss cheese.
Well, it's very porous, and people keep pouring through. After we've done this, they get all fired up on the south side.
catch 540,000, there's a possibility that 1 million people escaped last year from us.
Harold Beasley is the assistant chief of the San Diego sector.
If this is a battle, who's winning?
They are. We're losing.
But one person who has no time to keep score of who's winning and who's losing is Maria, whom 48 Hours hooked up with earlier as she began her journey to California.
There's more grass here, less chance of the helicopter seeing us. It's the enemy. It's so ugly to call them that. She knows we're going to the United States, but she's just a little girl.
Back at the levee, it's time for another shift change, but this time the Border Patrol is not hiding or waiting. It's only a short run to the freeway. The highway north is now a rendezvous point for smugglers and their human cargo, and for all practical purposes, a safe haven from the Border Patrol.
The yellow signs we'll see up here are warning the people that there's going to be people running across the freeway from either side, women and children and whatever. You see this group right here with the lady and her little kids right here walking.
They may be safe from the Border Patrol, but not from speeding cars.
If we pull over and try to work traffic on either side of the freeway or in the middle, the people are going to run from us. And when they run from us, they take a big chance of getting hit by a car.
In 4 years, more than 120 people have been killed crossing the freeway.
I can't see into the future, but I still see, as long as there's poor countries in the world and they think of America as the land of milk and honey, where there's gold paved everywhere, we're going to get people trying to come into our country. We have people coming in that they can't find food or work. We can't afford to pay for everybody. We just can't.
It would be good if Americans realized that all this hiding and illegal entry is causing death and tragedy.
For Maria, the trek has just ended. Only minutes from the highway to Los Angeles, she and her daughter and some others have been caught.
After all this walking and all this effort, getting caught by the Border Patrol would be like death. I would rather get beaten up and left here than have to do this all over again.
And tomorrow, when it gets dark, the desperate journey will begin all over again for thousands upon thousands of others who are also looking for a better life.
Homicide is the killing of one human being by another, either lawfully or unlawfully.
About the only thing that Korean-born Soon Ja-do and 15-year-old Latasha Harlins had in common was that they both were trying to make their dreams come true in this poor, crime-infested section of Los Angeles.
That was my granddaughter.
Latasha lived here with her grandmother and aunt, Ruth and Denise Harlins.
Oh, Lord, I mean, it just hurted me so it just hurted me deeply.
지금 너무나 무서운 꿈속에 있는 것 같아서. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. I don't know why things are happening this way.
Mrs. Do and her family don't live in the neighborhood, but like many Koreans, they own a business here. Last March, the two cultures collided in the Do's liquor store. This security tape has no audio. What you're about to see is graphic. Latasha approaches the counter with a bottle of orange juice in her backpack. Mrs. Do believes the teenager is shoplifting and grabs Latasha's sweater. Latasha punches Mrs. Do and knocks her down. Mrs. Do throws a stool at Latasha. As Latasha retrieves the orange juice from the floor, Mrs. Do gets a gun from under the counter and fires a single shot into the back of Latasha's head, killing her instantly.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Almost as quickly as the scuffle over an orange juice bottle escalated,
Well, you shouldn't tell this man to keep his mouth shut.
simmering tensions between the two communities boiled over.
We want justice. Why don't you open a market that we can use for our family?
Go back to Korea.
The Korean population in the Los Angeles area exploded from 70,000 to 180,000 in just 10 years. Today, 44% own small businesses.
Whatever the nationality is, whatever ethnic group it is, we are not going to stand idly by and see anybody come into our own neighborhood and into our own backyard and front yard and establish an economic monopoly and not respond to it.
What frustrates me most is just the fact that my parents, my brothers, they work their butts off. They work 14 hours a day.
Mrs. Du's daughter, Sandy, and her family talked to 48 Hours in their lawyer's office. They say they were robbed 3 times, burglarized 40 times, and their son beaten up in the 2 years they've owned the store.
And yet this is what we get. This is not what we pictured America to be, you know? We always pictured America to be, if we work, we get what we sow, you know?
Did anyone warn you that there might be problems adjusting to the community?
That was something small. What was big was just opening the store and getting it together. We thought people are people anywhere.
Soon Ja Du was charged with murder. Supporters of both sides packed the courtroom.
The witnesses will testify. You could clearly see the orange juice as she walked up to the counter.
Deputy District Attorney Roxanne Carvajal argues that Latasha was not shoplifting.
Latasha turns around to show her the backpack, to show her the orange juice that's sticking out. She has money in her hand.
Defense attorney Charles Lloyd maintains the shooting was in self-defense and accidental.
And then the young girl picks up the orange juice and said, "Bitch, I told you I was going to kill you." Mrs. Du finally gets the gun out of the holster, and standing there trembling, the gun accidentally goes off.
Latasha was the ultimate in the family. She was the center of attraction, center of our hearts, and everyone here looked up to Latasha. She was always a motivated, strong individual that loved her family.
Mrs. Du had never seen Latasha in the store before, but assumed she was a gang member.
너무나 컸고 너무나 무서웠고 그 펀치가. She was so big and she was so tall and her punch was so hard. I didn't think she was 15, but when I realized that, 그래서 그때 너무너무 가슴이 아팠고 my heart ached. 너무 가슴 아픈 일이지만은 she's filled with sorrow that she has passed away.
They don't know anything about us, our culture, our heritage, who we are, what we are.
Why do you think Mrs. Du shot Latasha?
The fact that Latasha was a black girl. Because if it was a Asian or a white person, I don't believe that that woman would have shot no other child.
Since this ordeal, if you had an opportunity to ever to buy property in an African-American community again, do you think that was wrong to do, or would you do it again?
제 검은 동네에다가 또 땅을 살 거냐고 물어봐요.
No way. No way. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
After 4 days of intense deliberation, the jury reaches a verdict.
Would the clerk please read the verdict?
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Simi Ja-du, guilty of voluntary manslaughter.
Manslaughter, not murder. For Mrs. Du, it could mean less prison time, or none at all.
Was it too late? What do you think? She got away with murder.
Do you understand why the African-American community may have reacted the way it did?
모르죠. No.
You don't
No, I
understand?
don't.
For many minorities, the melting pot is a myth. America is, instead, a mosaic, whose pieces don't always fit together. The shooting has left the Dews and the Harlans wondering where they fit into the picture.
여기 오기를 원했고. I feel like we had a lot of dreams when we came to America. 가슴 아프고. And we lost everything in that short amount of period, and that doesn't seem right to me.
Mrs. Du received no prison time. She got probation, a light fine, and 400 hours of community service.
In the Atlantic Ocean, under a blazing hot sun, someplace between Cuba and the United States, The U.S. Coast Guard spots a styrofoam raft floating helplessly, carrying a tired, thirsty refugee who is risking his life to get out of Cuba. He is asking the Cuban, "Are you the only one out there, or is someone else with you?" It turns out the man is not alone. On the floor of the raft, there is someone else, a young boy, a 15-year-old named Gregorio Perez. Gregorio is still breathing, but he's too weak. Before he can start a new life in Miami, Gregorio Perez will die.
And he was not the first one that had died while attempting to reach freedom via the Florida Strait in a raft.
It's an Apache.
At the time, we got together, a few friends, and started talking about doing something about what was going on.
What Jose Basulto, a Cuban refugee himself, is doing, along with some friends, is flying private planes searching for refugees at sea. They call themselves Brothers to the Rescue. When they spot refugees, they call the Coast Guard. So if your plane weren't up there, what would happen to some of these people?
I'm pretty sure they would die. The likelihood to be found is very small. 1 out of 4 makes it out.
Cubans are fleeing in anything that floats. More men and women and children risked their lives last year than in the previous 10 years combined.
That can give you an idea and a measure of the desperation level inside of Cuba, which is suicidal.
It's a big ocean, and the boats and rafts are so small. They are not easy to find. But on this day, Jose Basulto sees something. Refugees pinning their hopes on the wind.
A very small vessel with a small sail. And I believe 3 occupants on board. I have to check that. Stand by. It has 4 or 5 persons on board.
Inside the boat, 3 men and 2 women. Basulto throws them some water and a map.
Look at that! Good water delivery.
Before nightfall, 3 boats with 16 people will be spotted, and everyone on board will be rescued. When Cubans are picked up at sea, they are taken to a federal detention center in Miami. That's where we met the 5 people Basulto spotted from the air, and a father and son rescued from another boat that same day. One of the refugees was carrying the map Basulto dropped from his plane. Bienvenidos. Welcome. What would have happened if that plane didn't come over just when it did? What would have happened to all of you?
We would have lived for 4 or 5 hours more.
How many days were you out at sea?
3 days.
3 days. 3 days.
We were just waiting for God to save us.
Cuban refugees officially are classified as political, not economic refugees because they're fleeing a communist dictatorship. So unlike the others making the desperate journey to the United States, the Cubans can stay. All they need is a relative or group to take them in.
This year, this is the 3rd time he tried to leave Cuba on a raft or a boat.
And a highly organized Cuban-American community in Miami spreads the word of the new arrivals.
Emilio de Armas, Marlene Matos Guinza.
But today, there is an amazing discovery. 2 of the people rescued whose names have been read are the father and brother of a young boy who tried to make it nearly 2 years ago. This boy, Gregorio, whom we saw earlier, and who died at 15 trying to escape to the United States.
Out of the 6 people you rescued in the raft yesterday, you rescued a father and a brother. The father and the brother of the first rafter who died in Miami in 1998.
Of Gregorio
Perez Ricardo.
February 1990.
This is the dead boy's brother, Daniel, and this is his father, Orlando.
I lost a son here, and I made myself a mission to come here and go to his grave to see him.
America has always been a haven for people wanting a better life. Emilio de Armas wanted a better life too. 11 years ago, he tried to leave Cuba with his family in the Mariel boat lift. The Cuban authorities let the others go, but not Emilio. For some, the desperate journey ends in tragedy at sea. For others,
Emilio de Armas, concho, mi
it ends this way.
Unlike Emilio, most refugees from nearby Haiti are considered economic, not political, and have been turned back. Then came the September coup and deadly rampages by the Haitian military. More than 8,000 Haitians fled, they say, to escape the violence, not just the poverty. Most of them are still being held at Guantanamo Naval Base after a judge ordered federal officials to make sure no one is sent back who might be persecuted. An appeals court will consider the Haitians' fate in 2 weeks. That's 48 Hours for this week. I'm Dan Rather.
It could be in the eyes of a killer, in the heart of a liar, or in the hand of a thief. A good detective knows that the first place to look is at the scene of the crime. All new later tonight on Crime Time After Prime Time. Thanks for making CBS the most watched network. Now get ready for your local news.